What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, as the college football world keeps on turning, sure enough, there are more and more people in the transfer portal, with the latest name being Caleb Williams, the Oklahoma freshman quarterback who took over for Spencer Rattler midway through this past season. And then just hours after that news drops that Caleb Williams is in the portal, Dillon Gabriel flips to Oklahoma via the portal after having already left UCF in the transfer portal, going to UCLA. He's expected to start classes today. And, next thing you know, he's going to Oklahoma in the wake of Caleb Williams hitting the portal. So, just crazy news there. But what does this mean for college football? And where do I think the most likely places for Caleb Williams are to land? And to begin with, let's just talk about what this means for college football. For me, it's a sign that college football is officially free agency, where a player of this caliber on a team as good as Oklahoma is out on the open market after just 1 year there. It seems like this is the new norm in college football going forward, and I don't think that's very good for the sport as a whole, to be honest. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't come after me by saying I'm anti-player or anything. I fully respect and support Caleb Williams' ability and his right, if you will, to change teams, especially considering how his own head coach left him this season in what I feel like was kind of a scummy way, but, that's besides the point. I'm not attacking the players right now. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm just saying that with this new era of player mobility and with these guys always flipping teams, the portal is more full than it ever has been. I don't feel like that helps college football as a whole when you see the top level players at specifically at positions like quarterback from a school as big as Oklahoma leaving in the offseason to go to another team. And he's by no means the only one either. It's a lot of people doing this, and I don't know what that does to college football in the future. I don't think it's good for the sport. It's kind of worrisome. Probably going to do a whole separate video later on, especially like after the national championship and all that dies down, just on the state of the transfer portal and its impact on college football as a whole, what I think should be tweaked, things like that. But for this video specifically, the impact on the sport is dependent on where Caleb Williams lands, because he will go, he can go just about anywhere, and wherever he goes in the country, he'll most likely be a day one starter, and he'll have the ability to be the kind of quarterback who can lead a team to the playoff. Not just in year 1, 2, but he's going to have 2 years of eligibility, so that could be 2 playoff appearances for that team based on their quarterback play with Caleb Williams. He's that good. So, this is his name being in the portal is absolutely massive news for everyone. Even if you're a fan of a school like an Ohio State or an Alabama or something where you already have a young quarterback established for the future, this news is still impactful to you. It can still affect your program because wherever he goes, it's going to have a massive impact on that program, and that program can affect yours. If you're Alabama and he goes to another SEC school, that matters to you. If you're an Ohio State and he goes to a Big Ten school, that matters to you. So just because, even if you're a team that doesn't, have a shot at getting Caleb Williams, this is still important. This is important for the entire country because he is one of the most valuable players out there right now, high school or portal guys. He's going to have a huge impact wherever he lands. And now, as for the Dillon Gabriel news, this is just crazy to me, to be honest, because he was in the portal and considered a top-level quarterback from UCF, right? He commits to UCLA through the portal and has enrolled there. He's expected to start classes today at UCLA, and they think they've got their guy for the future there. And now, just at the last minute, just announces, nah, you know what, actually, I'm going to head out to Oklahoma because Caleb Williams hit the portal. And this right here, this highlights the big concern I have with the transfer portal's impact on college football at this point, because it's just absolute mayhem out there. You have players hopping from one school to the next, transferring multiple times within a period of a few weeks in this case, to the point where if you're UCF, right, you lose your starting quarterback. It is what it is. Dillon Gabriel is leaving. That's fine. So then you're UCLA. You go out, you get a big name like Dillon Gabriel in the portal. You're feeling good. That has an impact on your high school recruiting class, things like that. It has an impact on your roster dramatically at a position like quarterback, and you're feeling good. You're about to get him on campus and enrolled into classes, and the next thing you know, you actually don't have a good quarterback like that coming in anymore. Instead, they're going to Oklahoma, who thought they had their quarterback set up with Caleb Williams, but then he hits the portal but says he still might stay, but now they had Dillon Gabriel, so it's unlikely that he'll stay. It's just so much happening with each of these individual moves, especially from the top level players. It's honestly, it's just hitting kind of levels of absolute insanity. I don't know how these staffs are supposed to be able to keep up with it consistently, how you're expected to properly plan for the portal at this point when you have guys transferring to one team and then last minute transferring to a different team, and then it completely throws your entire class off in a lot of ways. And again, I support the players' rights and abilities to do this, but I think there definitely needs to be some tweaks to the portal long term. Maybe some things where you can, if once you transfer somewhere, that's your transfer destination for that season. Or, definitely I feel like we need to close the portal for certain times of the year. I don't think it should be open at all during the season, only open after the national championship, before the start of the season, something along those lines. But yeah, definitely some tweaks to the portal need to take place. It's not really the purpose of this video, though. So, back to the purpose of this video, where do I think Caleb Williams will go? Well, I obviously don't know anything more than any of you guys do, so this is really just kind of conjecture and me guessing around at this point. But I have heard a lot of noise about him coming to Georgia, which would be absolutely insane for a number of reasons. First and foremost, because the level of talent on the Georgia roster is incredible. I mean, you add a Caleb Williams to that is just so much help for him, for a quarterback of his caliber. The receiving talent that they have there with the tight end talent with Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington. Offensive line is consistently very good. Running back talent, and they consistently have a top 5 defense in the country as well. You add in an elite level quarterback like Caleb Williams to that roster is going to be absolutely terrifying going forward. But, as a Georgia fan, I'm very torn on if I even would want him to come here. Now, obviously, if he were to come to Georgia and come to Athens, I would be super hyped, and I would support him 100% of the way. But Georgia already has one former 4-star quarterback on their roster in Carson Beck. Then they have a former 5-star from the very same signing class as Caleb Williams and Brock Vandegrift, who's yet to see the field, plus another top 100 quarterback, sometimes a 4-star, some people rate him a 5-star, in this most recent signing class in Gunnar Stockton. Not to mention that technically both JT Daniels and Stetson Bennett could come back next year just based on eligibility for Georgia at quarterback, although I don't really expect either of them to. But still, that's still on the table. That's still an option. So the Georgia quarterback room is already super crowded. There's a lot of intrigue there to begin with. You add Caleb Williams, that becomes dramatically more crowded, and it would most certainly lead to at least one, maybe multiple transfers from the quarterback room at Georgia. I'm already kind of expecting a guy like JT Daniels to probably leave the program, either to go pro or to transfer out. And then I would honestly, you add a Caleb Williams, I think that's almost a wrap. Carson Beck's going to head out. I don't know what it does for Brock Vandegrift or Gunnar Stockton, but the point is that there's already a super crowded and a super full quarterback room at Georgia, and so adding Caleb Williams, as great as that would be, comes with a lot of other downsides and potential drama in that situation. I don't know if I really want to see, not just as a Georgia fan, but if you're a fan of the sport as a whole, you don't want to see Caleb Williams go to Georgia because it's just the rich getting richer at that point. I would rather see him go to a school who's more like, close to being a contender, but needs some help. They're one step away kind of thing. Not necessarily a school that's already insanely loaded and in the playoff like a Georgia or an Alabama or something like that. I wouldn't want to see him go somewhere like that. I've also heard some mentions of Texas A&M. Seems pretty unlikely to me due to just how Jimbo has spoken about his quarterback room already. They've already taken a quarterback in the portal as well. I don't see that happening. I've just heard some rumors about that. And then initially I thought that for me, in my opinion, staying at Oklahoma would have been the best option for him. But now that they've added Dillon Gabriel, that looks super unlikely. It looks like that ship has sort of sailed. Kind of makes me believe that Caleb Williams in some way indicated to the Oklahoma staff that he's likely to leave via the portal and not so likely to stay. Otherwise, I don't know if they would have gone out so quickly and picked up another elite quarterback like that, because doing so basically guarantees that Caleb Williams leaves. And then, again, they could have got the order on that wrong. They could have got word that Dillon Gabriel was coming to Oklahoma, and so Caleb Williams just kind of got out in front of the news and hit the portal early. I don't know how all that worked out. Regardless, I don't see him staying at Oklahoma, even though before I found out about the Dillon Gabriel stuff, that's sort of what I figured would be the best move for him and what I would have liked to have seen. That option's basically gone at this point. There's also teams like LSU with their new coach Brian Kelly. They always have just a ton of talent on their roster. Big time SEC school there. Would be a good fit for him. They could definitely use his help at quarterback. He would definitely start there. Could be an interesting move. Ole Miss would be very interesting losing Matt Corral. You bring in a Caleb Williams. Honestly, that might even be considered an upgrade over Matt Corral if there is such a thing in college football. You get Lane Kiffin calling the offense for you. I think Caleb Williams would be a big fan of that. They're definitely making a little bit of noise there. And Ole Miss would really, really benefit from getting a guy like Caleb Williams. They could really use him. And then also there's the obvious other name out there, which is USC, Southern California with Lincoln Riley. He played under Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley was the guy who got him to come to Oklahoma in the first place. He clearly has a relationship there. SoCal could use a quarterback this year in particular, even though they've got Malachi Moore, I think his name is, 5-star in the 23 class. That doesn't help them this year, and that doesn't really help him next year. He'd be a true freshman. Caleb Williams would be better than him at that point, most likely. So he could go to USC and start, most likely, especially with Lincoln Riley there. I really don't want to see him go there after how Lincoln left Oklahoma. If I was in Caleb's shoes, I wouldn't want to follow him, but that's just me. Maybe I'm being a little bit petty, to be honest, but that I wouldn't want to do that if I was Caleb Williams. I don't want to see him go to SoCal because it just, to me, it goes along with the transfer portal thing. Now, if a coach leaves a school, he can just bring half the team with him in 1 year. I don't really like that. But yeah, anyway, regardless of where Caleb Williams lands, I wish him the absolute best. I know he's going to most certainly succeed. He's going to be an absolute stud wherever he goes. He's a freak of nature. And, just absolute superstar quarterback. Wish him the best. Don't know where he's going to end up, but just honestly, anywhere but USC for me is where I want to see him end up. But with all that being said, if you've made it this far in the video, please go ahead and leave a like and comment down below on where you think Caleb Williams will land, and then what this plus the Dillon Gabriel news means for college football going forward, how you feel about the portal, all of that stuff. Let me know about it down below in the comment section. Also, subscribe to the channel for more college football content like this. In the future, I will continue to be uploading college football content very regularly going through, even throughout the dreaded off-season, if you will, even though there really isn't an off-season with football because of all the recruiting news, especially now with the portal, spring practice, all that stuff. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.